So a cause that you're very passionate about is many mothers.
Yes.
How did you first get involved with it? Because they're in Santa Fe. Or do you have any roots to the area? Or
When the pandemic hit, I went kind of crazy, which is like nothing new for me. But I really was. I mean, I've dealt with PTSD in my life, and so I just got really super triggered, and I felt like we were all on top of each other. I didn't know what was safe. I didn't know what was going on. So I sold my house, and I had been to Santa Fe one time, and they call it the land of enchantment, right? So I just wanted to spend more time there, and I sold everything, got rid of all my stuff, moved to Santa Fe, moved to a ranch, got donkeys and goats, and I had an experience with a donkey, and I felt instant community because my donkey died. We had to put her in my car, a miniature donkey, but in an SUV. Imagine that. It was interesting, and people were so helpful and so giving, and I just got this overwhelming sense of I have this opportunity of time, and I don't have to work a day job. I make music. I'm not on tour. There's no freaking touring. So I started looking up charities. I started fostering animals and everything, and then I came across this charity called Many Mothers. And my mother was a doula for 20 years. It was a dream of mine to be a mother. This was pre-becoming a mother. And Many Mothers is this charity where they train women. And I think essentially it's like postpartum doula work. You're trained for, a few weeks, and you go into homes of all different, they don't care if you've got no money, if you got money, if you're homeless, anything. If you're a mother and you need help and you need guidance or you just need support, they train us, and we go in, and I work with a family, and I help with homeschooling. I helped with taking the kids to the park, and I went through a lot of milestones with this mother for months, and I helped with twins, and it was just really incredible. And in a sense, I learned so much about how intense it is to have a child. So not to say that I was prepared when I had my own kid, but it was something that really was very fulfilling to me. And whether you have a lot or a little, it's a very intense experience. And it's so important to make sure that women and families and even the fathers and other siblings, and that they feel supported, and that they have just love and care around them as a family grows or through changes. And I don't know, it just changed me a lot. And I don't always, I like to be charitable. I like to do what I can, but I'm busy all the time. And so I feel like that was this really incredible experience for me to get to just devote my time. 5 days a week I was with this family, and I'm still in touch with them, and I feel like something spiritually happened, and I finally got pregnant, and I have a beautiful little boy now. And I feel like sometimes if you make sacrifices, whatever that is to you, to me it didn't feel like a sacrifice, but I did give a lot of time, and I learned a lot, and I feel like it was just something I had to do to make way in my life for my own blessing. And I learned so much, and Many Mothers is incredible, and I hope that they can span out all over the place, because it's so loving and it's so wonderful, and I feel blessed that I got to know them and I got to work with them, and I'm still in touch with everybody there, and it was just a really incredible experience.
it seems like they really foster this beautiful sense of community in the community.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
What are some of the things that what else do they do within the community?
I mean, it really is a lot of like just family support. But like their outreach is anyone, and any single person. And once you leave, if you have a baby in the hospital, like once you leave, like you get a pamphlet from Many Mothers. You know what I'm saying? And they go out, like they're constantly out in the streets, making sure they're seeing pregnant women. God forbid if they're homeless or anything. And there's zero judgment at all. And so I just really, I loved that. And it taught me so much about, like, one of the biggest things that in our training was do not judge people, because they are going to be 100% more different than anything you have ever seen before. And that was my experience with any house that I went into. Any house that I went into support and like, be like, what do you do? I was like, I'm a musician. Yeah, I sing sometimes, and I wouldn't tell people. And I would, one family had twins and I went and I did their dishes and I folded all their laundry for them. And like, that was the support that they needed. And she watched Gilmore Girls and then she just needed someone to like be sweet to her while she like learned how to do the football hold with 2 babies breastfeeding. So it was, I feel like maybe I was a little more sensitive to it because I grew up with a doula for a mother who's like a labor coach and a labor assistant. And so I've always kind of been fascinated with birth and I love motherhood and I think it's so beautiful. And now I'm so glad that I have those experiences and that I went and did that because I needed it so much when I became a mother and I needed to lean on people and I needed community so desperately. So people should check it out. And if anyone is a new mother or is going to be a new mother or a parent or welcoming a child in whatever capacity that may be, just remember to reach out for support. There are so many different organizations that can and will support people. I did like a mom's group over Skype and like I hate computers, but like you need community. It's so important and it can be a very intense experience. It's still very intense and my baby just turned 1. It's like, I don't know, he's around here barefoot. It's like, oh, yep, that was mine.
But it's really cool because it's like folding and helping while the mother is taking care of their kids. That's a really important mental health issue though, being able to have the support like that.
Yes. I'm not even pregnant and I don't have a newborn and I get overwhelmed with dishes, So like, if anybody that you know has a baby and you're going to go, do not go to anybody's house to meet the baby unless you are bringing a cooked meal, ready to do the dishes, gonna do some laundry, or take out the trash. That's it. Those are the rules. Support people, support mothers, ask the fathers how they're feeling, or in any capacity, whether it's a mother and father home, 2 mothers, 2 fathers, support them. Ask them, what can I do to best support you? How can I make you feel at ease? Because that is the most important thing. And that's it. That's all I got to say about that. Do laundry!
So did you have them help you when you had your son?
No, I left. I left to support my partner. At that time, I was not touring. I was making music. I was making a record. And I'm a very spiritual person, and it was 3 strikes out on houses we tried to buy in Santa Fe, and I was like, I'm picking up what you're putting down. And so my fiance is an incredibly talented tattoo artist. That's how we met. Riverside Tattoos in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And so we moved to a little farm in Rhode Island because we're insane. And yeah, I wish that many mothers were there when I had my baby, because I would have really, really loved to have utilized that,
I'm sure you took away some amazing lessons from it, though.
100%. Yeah, that you need help, that you need people, and that it's important and it's okay to ask. It's a really scary, scary thing. And then, like, you're so tired, like, it's psychedelic. Like, you feel like you're losing your mind. It's all worth it, and I don't know, it's just crazy. Like,
did you encounter anyone with postpartum also while volunteering?
Yeah, my reflection. And it's weird because like you don't know. And it's not like one size fits all, But I 100% now looking back, like I had a lot of moments where I lashed out on people. And like, yeah, they're being dicks, but like I didn't know how else to handle it. And I look back on it now that I've like, worked on my body a little bit and like gotten back into sort of like you can't go back to a headspace before baby. That's my baby crying right now. He's like, no, bitch, you're still crazy. But yeah, like I definitely lashed out a lot, and you can't be like, oh, hormones, an excuse. But I understand now, and I just try to like have grace and be kind and apologize and say like I didn't realize in the moment that I was super hormonal and I was being super protective, and I probably shouldn't have acted or reacted like that. But yeah, I do remember it was a few months ago, and like I looked at my partner and I was like, babe, like I feel different. And I look back on how emotional I was and like how tightly wound I was and how worried and like obsessively compulsive I was on so many things. And I had to get out of my own way and be like, you need to enjoy this. This is the only thing that you've ever wanted in your whole life. Like you can always play shows, you know, you can always make music. Like this is your baby's first year. Like let loose, like just chill, sis. And that was it's hard. I think it's called self-awareness. I'm not quite there yet. I hear it's an important thing to have. I would like to have that one day. But until then, I'm just kind of sifting through, trying to figure out how to be a good mom and a good person too.
You certainly do have it. The fact that you know what you were going through,
Yeah.
and could come out on the other side of it that's the definition of being self-aware, though.
I hope so, because I did say sorry. So, I meant it. I meant it. The one time I meant it.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, it really is a big thing. It's like we're always evolving.
Hopefully, that's what you hope, right? That you're always evolving and growing. That's what I hope for.
But you know what you went through, and you came out on the other side, and
Totally.
you know your son seems like he's having fun and having a great time. He's here in Louisville, and you're here to play music. I mean, that is coming out. That is literally coming out on the other side of it. It's gonna feel great.
It is beautiful, and he's so happy, and I feel extremely blessed, and I thank God every single day. We pray before we go out on stage, and whether you believe in God or whatever it is that you believe in, we try to just express gratitude, which is like not something I ever did before. I was just like, let's take fucking shots and like, yeah, let's just party. Now it's like, hey, can we hold hands and just express gratitude that this is our job and just give thanks? And it kind of changed the way that we walked out on stage, and it changed like our like, I don't know. I feel very humbled by life, and I feel just super grateful because I don't know. I was in the pop world. I was in the pop and alternative world. You can get chewed up and spit out real quick, and I kind of did. And so the fact that I'm still here getting to make music, and that my partner has his own career and his own dreams and aspirations, and that I can show my son that whatever it is that you aspire to be, you can be, and just do it the best of your ability, you know? And I'm glad he can get to see that. I want to include him as much as I can. He goes everywhere with me. Until he says like, I don't want to go, he'll come.
But it's great that, again, coming out of that, because people don't realize that it is fairly common to have that.
To what?
Or to even deal with or know someone that has that issue, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people don't talk about it. People don't talk about miscarriages. People don't talk about postpartum depression, you know? And people only recently started, I feel like only the last few years, people are really talking about mental health or anything, or PTSD, or eating disorders, or any of these things that you don't even have to be in the entertainment industry to have these things. These are human things that we go through, and you're not alone. You're not alone at all. And when I was going through a lot of my, like, it's weird because I make jokes to like kind of not even deflect, but we laugh in our family, which is probably not a great, coping mechanism, but it's just what we do. It's what I grew up around. My dad's a comedian. My mom's beautiful and really, really funny, and we just make awkward jokes to get through horrible situations. But I don't know. You have to realize that you're not alone. And when I was really going through, like, in the depths of my shit, I asked for help, and I started the information and the, like, how do I put it? Like the scientific thing that's happening to your brain when you go through a traumatic event really helped me. So if anybody out there has gone through any type of trauma, by the way, there is no comparison of trauma. It's not apples, oranges, anything. It's interpersonal, relational trauma outside PTSD, anything. Something that affects you so greatly in your life is something that you have to get through it to get over it. And so what I did is I found a trauma specialist, And I learned everything. I learned everything that physically happens and what manifests in you and what your brain does to protect yourself and why this happens, why that happens. And it really helped me understand, and it helped me really like remind myself that I'm not alone, and that that's why there's science behind things that happen to people. So that's what helped me. Of like, this happens because you got scared, you got triggered here, you spun out because this was trying to protect you, and your brain goes into this default mode. And it was just really interesting to me, you know, because I feel energy everywhere I go, and like I'm very sensitive. I'm a super sensitive being. Maybe that's why I like tried to get face tattoos, because I was like, oh, they won't come close to me, man. But like I'm goo, like I'm jello, you know, I'm pudding, you know, I'm a big softie. But love is out there, and the world is a wonderful and beautiful place, and try not to get stuck in, you know, the thought of like, everybody has those thoughts. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I here? What is this? Nobody's fucking cares. Nobody's listening to me. I think that's also human nature, but I think it's important to, I like to say, you can be your own audio tech, right? So when those voices come and it's like they're so loud, you could turn that shit down, but you have to replace it with something. And even if it feels weird or awkward, like you should be like, you know what? I'm funny. Or like, hey, you know what? I was right today. That mathematical equation, yes, I was right. You know what? I'm smart. I held the door open for somebody. Or like, I said thank you. I said please and thank you to somebody. Like, just compliment yourself and be kind, because you have to show the world how to treat you. And if you treat yourself like shit, the world will treat you like shit. But if you show up to the party and you got boundaries and you respect yourself and you're kind to yourself and you say, I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to evolve, then the world will see that and recognize that, and you won't allow anything else, because that's what you build up around you. I call it protecting my joy. And that's it.
Well, that was beautiful, and thank you so much for dropping by, especially after a great set.
Oh, thank you. I'm
And
gonna go
we really-
eat and take a nap.
There you go, and go play with your son.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The most important thing.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.